Okay, today we're going to talk about savings as promised. We'll start out where we're at here. This is where we're at. This is where we'll be if everything goes according to plan. Okay, so today we're going to go over savings. I actually really like this tab. I think this tab has a lot to offer. So what we'll do is we'll talk about the accounts that I have. We'll briefly go over some of the balances and the trends. Again, looking at I really like this in terms of one thing I haven't been leveraging is the colors. Like if you really look at the colors closely, you can see what accounts are being drawn down, what accounts are getting larger. I like that. That's kind of neat. Um, so this is the savings tab. Let's just go over some of these savings. Let's see. Let's just go to current. I'm guessing people will probably be more curious about the current balance. So if you got my wife's 403b, we got 214 in there. This is my fixed annuity for 3 years. I've got about 460. I think I have more in there now. This is one that I manually update. This is a fixed annuity at 4.55, or no, 4.45. And that's a 3 year fixed annuity that I took out. The healthcare transfer account. So the reason that is in there, it's kind of a way I've started using accounts to kind of track different things that I'm doing as well, even though they may not be different physical accounts, kind of a logical account. So the healthcare transfer account, the reason I use that is I need to dictate to Boldin my withdrawal order so that I'm doing some big Roth conversions next year and the year after so that when we go on healthcare I can use that instead of drawing down from my 401k. But I needed to tell Boldin that between the ages of 61 and 64 to draw from that account first. So what I did is I set up transfers. They go into this account and then Boldin, because of my order of, let's see, withdrawal order, it's probably in money flows. Oh, it's up here. I don't want to get into it. You know what I mean. You can go into money flows and you can dictate what order it draws from accounts. So this account goes right to the top. So what happens is there's nothing in it till I do I do the transfers, and then what happens is it starts drawing down from that account in year 4. Okay, and I do 4 transfers each year. So here, I'm sorry, let's just do this real quick. So what I do is I do 2 big Roth conversions and I stick them into my Roths. Okay, that's next year and the year after, and then from my essentially my IRA into those Roths. Then I do 4 more transfers between the ages of 61 for 61, 62, 63, and 64, right? And each year I do a transfer into this healthcare transfer account. And so what happens is my order of withdrawal, this healthcare transfer account is first, but it doesn't have any money in it till 61 when I have to start paying for my own health insurance when my wife retires. So that's the point of this. So this is going to be technically, if this worked, this is going to be zero except for those 4 years. And it's still going to be zero because it goes in and then Bolden uses it to pay expenses. So that's that one. The house sale proceeds are when I go 77, I just put in there's a place where you can put in house sale proceeds. So this is just a way I can track what is it doing with that house money. Invest early Social Security. When you're doing different plans in Bolden, different scenarios up here, the one thing that goes is account to account to account. The accounts go over. So even though there'll be nothing in this particular in this scenario, invest early Social Security will always be zero, but I use that account to look at investing early in Social Security. And I haven't deleted the account because I may toy around with that. I may or may not do it. I don't know. That's a pretty controversial one. Savings excess cash. This is just where any extra from the year goes in. This is actually my real savings excess cash. So right now I have like 120 and 120,000 in a CD. Basically, this represents all the money before I retired where I was stashing cash, which I tell people constantly, well, not constantly on the YouTubes, that was the one thing I wish I would have done. I wish I would have put away more cash. And then I wouldn't have had to have done these huge Roth conversions. But there's still 165 $1,000 each year to get me down to a poverty level over the 4 years. So it's how are you going to save that much beforehand? That's a lot. So this is basically represents all that savings. Savings we were doing. Another thing we did is when my wife, um, started working and we got everything settled, we put money into that account. And when the house was paid off, we put money into that account. So that's basically the account we've been saving. And over the last year and a half, when I've been retired, I use that account to fund any delta that my wife doesn't cover. I mean, we are debt free. So that's what that account is. My IRA, that's self explanatory. That's about what's in my IRA now. My IRA is in the fixed annuity is essentially it was an option, like pre-tax option. So really the amount of money I've saved from my jobs is the fixed annuity and Steve's IRA. And then I have this Roth IRA, which is a complete 100% backdoor Roth IRA that I did 3 years, probably like five, maybe like 3 years before retirement, maybe a little more, when I discovered that what the company that holds the brokerage that holds my 401k said they could do this for me automatically. So I got like $1,000 raise a month, and I just said awesome, and I just literally took that raise and put it all into this. So that's why this is about two. This is like 2.5 years, and then some growth. So let's take a look at the chart real quick. Just look at what accounts. So you can see right here, if this is right, let's start with, like, this is the current year. Next year, let's see if my healthcare transfer account gets put up. Nope. Let's keep going here. There should be a point where you see that. The healthcare transfer account. Where are you? Oh no, the healthcare transfer account's always zero because the Roth is kicking it in. But we should see the Roth. Oh yeah, that's where the money's moving. Sorry guys. Sometimes I don't forget it just when you're doing these YouTubes. So I'm moving the money from my IRA to my Roth. So that's why you see next year. So this year you'll see the Roth is 38. And then next year I do 165, so it moves up to 208. And then the following year I do another 165, which moves up to 386. Then what you should see is this Roth will start going down the years that I have to do health insurance. So let's see. Yep, so you see 386. This Roth IRA is 386. Then the following year it's 320. Following year it's 250. Following year it's 176. The following year it's 99. And then at 65 it's 104. So that does tell me, like, the whole purpose of this was pre-Medicare. So what that tells me is if I still have 104 left in my Roth IRA, probably what I should be doing is I can either reduce the amount of my Roths over the next 2 years, or I could essentially go into my money transfers, my money flows, and actually tell it to move more in between between those 5 years. Okay, so I think that generally covers it. You do see that when I sell my house, this purple thing, the house sale proceeds go up to 682. So we can just cruise through here real quick. I mean, this is just for your benefit more. So you'll see my IRA. This also kind of helps me show what accounts are being drawn down. So you'll see that it's drawing down from this orange one, which is the Roth IRA. Um, and it looks like it's drawing down from the annuity. Whether I'll do that for real or not, I'm probably gonna change. I should probably this would be a good video. I should probably really think. I've kind of been just picking up the defaults on my withdrawal order, because to be honest with you, my withdrawal order doesn't. I really don't have a choice. Well, if you always have a choice, but because my fixed annuity and my is essentially it was my 401k, and it's an IRA, this fixed annuity. I can't touch it till 59 and a half anyhow, so I really didn't have a choice there. So what I'm going to do is, I haven't had to think too much about it because over the next couple of years I don't have a choice. And even then, when I do my conversions between 61 and 65, I don't have a choice there either. I'm going to have to pull it out of my pre-tax, not my pre-tax, my post-tax Roth, so that it doesn't look like I'm making a lot of money for my healthcare subsidy. So until I hit 65, there isn't really a lot to talk about in terms of my withdrawal order. So I will probably at some point in time work on like my withdrawal order, but up to now I've basically been focused on these years for withdrawal order. Um, yeah, so I mean, there's nothing crazy going on here. It's not, it's just a pretty straightforward tab. The only thing interesting here is you'll see my sale proceeds are 682,000. So that's with inflation. So that's kind of, oh, I don't know what this little blue thing is. Oh, yeah, that's kind of interesting, right? You'll start to see the only time in my whole plan where I get excess cash looks to be when I'm 85. So, all right, so that's savings. I don't think there's too much exciting going on there. The only thing that's worth noting is you may want to do the same thing. If there's some real specific things like house sales. Oh, I didn't talk about this. Unrealized investment into upgraded real estate. So I'm going to be doing a video where right now I think Boldin only supports one house move, and I'm going to be doing two, but it's going to be a lateral. So what that means is I'm going to sell my house as it is now. It's probably going to be in 6 years and buy a house on the lake. But whatever I make from here, I'm going to use over there. But the issue with that is I want to actually buy a house and put like another 100,000 in it to get a nicer house. And so what I'm going to essentially do is look at that money. I'll do a video on this. Look at that money as an investment in real estate. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably take it out of my Roth or something like that and draw that money out and use it for to give me some extra money when I buy the house. And so I wanted to essentially be able to do that in Boldin. And so I'm going to use that account for this because I didn't want to do another house move. So Boldin thinks I'm in the same house for a time 77 or 78. Well, I can tell you right here, till I'm 77. But in reality, I'm probably going to sell my house back in here somewhere. So, and I'm gonna, and I'll account for the real estate fees and stuff because I'm gonna sell the house on my own. I sold my first house on my own. But all I got to do is I got to figure out a way to how do I tell Bolden, listen, I'm going to take 100,000 out of my Roth IRA and I'm going to put it into, if I can buy a $700,000 house in the lake, I'm going to buy an $800,000 house in the lake. And so what I did is I said I'm going to create this account and I'm just going to move the money from the Roth into this fake account, which really represents extra equity in my lake house that I'm going to move to. And so that's what that account's all about. So that account doesn't have anything in it now, and I don't think I put anything in it yet. Let's see. Oh, here I can tell just by clicking on this. Yeah, nothing yet. So I'll do a whole video on that and show you how I'm going to do that. So this is kind of a fun tab right here, contributions and investment returns. I really wish I could take like a young kid. I tell my kids generally get this. My three kids understand the value of, what is it? Which one is it? Like the 12th greatest wonder in the world is compounding interest. So they understand that. They understand the market. They're really big on putting it in. I'm trying to get my daughter to figure that out. But this is kind of a fun place if you could show kids. There's other tools to do this too, about how a little bit of money now turns into a lot of money later. So this is kind of cool, right? You can see up here, where to my house, 1,000,002. I have mixed emotions about that because I don't like the idea of the house is going for that much money, but I like making that much money. This is the growth. This is the growth returns from the 403B. This is the gross returns. If I was to keep that annuity for the entire amount, this would be the amount that I would make for the whole thing. This is returns on the healthcare transfer account. This is returns on my house sale. This is the house sale proceeds. That's interesting. Why do I have two in there? Oh, this is just real estate. It's combining everything, and this is actually the proceeds on it because I use 300 and something thousand to put into our long-term care. This is total excess cash. This is the total amount the IRA will make. This is the total amount the Roth IRA. It's just amazing, And these aren't big numbers. I'm pretty conservative. I think I have mine at 6%. This is a transfer healthcare account. The question I had when I looked at this is where is that money coming from? Where does it get put money into? Oh, no, this isn't returns. These are transfers. That's why. Actually, somebody just gave me a comment about transfers. So these are returns. These are transfers. So this is where you can see I'm transferring money from my Roth IRA into into my healthcare transfer account. So that's why they're the same number. And then this is just excess income over the lifetime of the plan. So that's the interesting stuff there. This is kind of a cool tab, this withdrawals tab, and then we'll wrap it up. This is what I plan on going to every at the beginning of every year. This should be the tab I go to that kind of tells me what do I need to do that year. We've already talked about that. All these one times, these 20,000, oh, those are vacations. So that way, if things change, if things get better, things get worse, instead of having to change in my expenses over 20, I can go in and change that year. So if we have a great year, we'll spend 40,000 in vacations. If we have a rough year, we'll spend less. So you'll see all these. There's one for each year. Uh, let's see what else we got going on here. This is the Roth. So let's just look at what you would do if you had to do. So let's just say the beginning of 2026. This is what I plan on doing. I'm going to go in, I'm going to click on 2026, and that's going to essentially tell me what I have to do next year. So you'll see next year, what's the first thing I have to do? I have to do a transfer. So it's going to tell me, hey, you got to do a transfer out of your IRA. So I'm going to do the transfer from my IRA into my Roth IRA. It's also going to tell me, hey, you've got a shortfall, income versus expenses, and you need to put that money, you have to pull that money out somewhere. So I'm going to pull that money out. It's saying pull that money out from savings excess cash, which makes sense. That's what I've been technically doing. I don't think the number will be this high because what I'm seeing as I go into the retirement is our expenses are less than we planned. So this will probably be less than that, but that's the plan. So let's go to a couple different years here. But that's why I love this tab, because this tab tells you what to do. So if you look at 63, oh, that's the first year we had a vacation. So I've got this one-time $20,000. There's my Roth IRA. There's a transfer there. So now this transfer is actually saying I'm transferring I'm actually taking money from my Roth IRA and putting it into that health savings account. And then we have the shortfall here, which is what you see, right? You're seeing I'm transferring it into Roth 82.5, and that's my shortfall. And that's the whole goal of that, right? Is to make my income look zero. So that's why it's saying, hey, from the shortfall, get it all from my Roth. And that way it won't be counted as income. And then, of course, I have some shortfall even beyond that, for 14,183. And that comes out of excess cash. Or no, that came out of my fixed annuity, which is kind of interesting too. It won't be a fixed annuity by then, but I'm sure I'll have something that can make 4.5%, hopefully. It's interesting though, that fixed annuity is actually very interesting. I can pull out 50,000 every year with no penalty. I mean, I still have to pay taxes on it though, because it's pre-tax. So, I mean, so that's the significance. I mean, we could look through we could look through every year, but no one's going to be interested in that. It takes too much time. But you get the idea. What I like about this tab is this is what drives me. This is what tells me what I have to do at the beginning of every year. And so I actually do take the time to look at this and make sure that it makes sense, that what I'm doing seems to be the right thing, but I tend to do it a few years in advance. So that, as promised, is the savings tab, and I like this. I like this one a lot because it tells me what I need to do. Um, and so the next one we'll go over is taxes. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Have a great day.